What's up, everybody? It's Matt from howtomotorcyclerepair.com. In today's video, I want to do a review on the Dust Deputy. Basically, what I'm trying to do is use a Harbor Freight blast cabinet with soda. And whether you're using soda, sand, bead, any kind of media, it's going to get dusty, and you got to pull that dust out of the cabinet. Most people use a shop vac. Some may or may not use a filter, but I definitely need a filter because the soda is almost like a drywall dust once it's all done and spent. It's very fine and it clogs the filter in no time. So the first thing I did is I made a water filter trap, which is this thing here. The dirty air comes in and hits some water, and it gets trapped there, and then the shop vac end is here, and it definitely works. However, there are some cons to it which made me look into an alternate solution. First of all, you have to fill this with water, so it's annoying to, before you get started, make sure you clean this, make sure you get water in there. And second of all, the vacuum will suck all the water out of this. And I could make a fancy baffle or whatever, but I went on Garage Journal and I asked the guys if, a lot of people use this, if they had anything, any solutions, and others were looking for it as well. So I figured I'd just scrap this whole idea together. So water gets in the shop vac, it'll suck out all the water, and then your filter starts to collect the media dust. And then, even if it doesn't suck up all the water, you're going to get enough media in here, at least with soda, that it's going to eventually dry out all the water. And you have to clean it out and add more water. So it's kind of a pain in the ass to go through all this, whereas I'm trying to save time with this whole system. So I'm going to put this aside. This is pretty much garbage. I wouldn't recommend wasting your time on that. And this is how the Dust Deputy works. You just basically install it on an airtight bucket like that. Now down here, I made a wood, 1/2-inch plywood wood reinforcement. I sealed with some caulk in here, used 1/4 20 bolts, and this is an airtight lid, so that goes on like that. Next up, I used some PVC, which I heated up and then slipped on here until this gets nice and gooey, and then you slip it on there and you get a nice tight fit. So that's basically how I managed to get all my fittings to work. Just kind of heat it up with a heat gun, and I got a video on that, so I'll definitely show you guys that. Now this thing is pretty expensive. I mean, it's $60. I got it at Amazon, and I'll have a link to it below the video so you can buy it if you want. But at the end of the day, if this works and I don't have to add water, just turn on the vacuum and go, then that is worth it to me. All right, so let me get this ready and we'll do a little demonstration. All right, so for starters, my bucket is empty. Here's what my shop vac looks like. It's relatively clean. I mean, there's no soda in it, so let's just see how it looks after. Alright guys, so this is how I'm going to test it out. I got 6 ounces of soda media in here that I'm just going to suck up with the vac, and I want to see where it ends up. They claim 99% will end up in the bucket. So what I have, this is where the shop vac hooks up, and then this is where your dirty air hooks up, and this is where it would go to the cabinet, or on the floor, whatever you want to suck up with this. All right, so let's give it a shot. Some residual in the hose. See how it's spinning in there? It's all gone. Now this lid was flexing quite a bit, but I'll never get this capped off. I mean, when it's in the cabinet, there's tons of flow. so there's some on there. Let's dump it back in. See if we're not going to get all of it, obviously, but pretty dusty. And this soda media is spent. I mean, I've been using the heck out of it, so. And it turns out I had more. I guess it was nicely packed. So again, not a real scientific test, but I mean, it looks like I have the same amount. So let's take a look at the vacuum here. There's nothing in there. A quick test. I just cleaned this filter, so I mean it's clean. Look at that. That's awesome. Alright guys, so that solves one issue that I was having with this. I'm really happy about that. One con to this is you got 14 inches to deal with. This is a pretty tall component here. So the water filter fit right under the cabinet. This thing's much taller. But what I think I'm planning to do here is I'm going to make a little shelf and I'm going to have that live right there. I think that'll work pretty good. Now for those of you who are going to drag this around or whatever, keep in mind there's small gussets here. If this thing's going to tend to tip or it's going to crack, so you're definitely going to want to reinforce this somehow. Maybe I'll even do that depending how I mount it. Alright guys, well here it is. I got it all mounted on the side of the cabinet. It rolls with it. And basically you can see how I heated this elbow up to fit it on here. Heated this guy to fit this hose. This hose you can take apart, so I just cut it and reattach this clip. Again, heated this fitting, heated that fitting, and for whatever reason I didn't pick up another elbow, but what I plan on doing is there's going to be an elbow right here, and that's going to hook up the shop vac. I found that if I hook it up directly to here, the hose kinks, so I'll probably, or I'll do a series of 90s and hook it up this way. I don't know. I mean, but the point is the shop vac is going to hook up right there. Now something I did here is I can disconnect it here and then lift this up. So you can see what I did right here. I put a piece of plywood and I cut 2 or 3 inches off a bucket and take that, or screwed that on there. So all I have to do is drop this guy in here. And it's pretty sturdy and nothing's gonna tip over, and that's that. And then I can roll this outside if I want, or I can put it back to where it belongs over here. Alright guys, so that's my setup right there. You got the shop vac hidden under the cabinet there, route the hose through it and hook it up, and the dust deputy is on the left. And I'm running out of room in this garage. I can barely get stuff through the door on that blast cabinet, but you know, just wheel it out a little bit and stick it in there. So far I'm really happy with this setup. It's going to save me a ton of time. Alright, it's Matt from howtomotorcyclerepair.com. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Visit my site, check it out, read some stuff, look at videos, and we'll see you next time.